Hi and welcome to Juna Hardy Yoga. Enjoy your next video. Namaste. Namaste and welcome to this 15-minute joint mobility class. Let's begin our practice by lying in Savasana. Palms facing up and little toe sides of our feet falling outwards. And as you close your eyes, relaxing your face and jaw, softening your eye sockets, and start to take some deep breaths into the body. Inhaling and exhaling nice and deeply, and really focus on the exhalation. This is a deeply relaxing breath. The exhalation breath starts to allow your body to unwind and surrender to the mat. Peacefully deep breathing. Let's begin by warming up our hands, just wiggling the fingers. And wiggling the toes. Let's warm up our ankle joints. Flexing one ankle joint by drawing the toes up towards your nose and pointing the opposite one. This stretches the top of one foot and starts to stretch the hamstring and the Achilles tendon of the other. Slowly, so inhaling one toe up, pointing the other, and then exhaling the opposite side. I'm doing a few of those. Now let's open in the hip joints, turning the feet outwards and inwards. So taking the little toe sides of your feet strongly outwards on an inhale, and then turning the big toe sides of the feet towards the mat on the exhale. Always moving with the breath if you can. And here, move the whole leg, so you feel that you're actually moving right deep into your hip sockets and hip joints. It's great for warming up the hips and warming up the ankles. And doing a few of those, inhaling out, exhaling in, not forcing the legs, listening to the body, knowing where your limitations lie and understanding where you can challenge and where it's best left. Continue to turn the feet out and turn the feet in. Let's draw knees up to the chest now, flattening the lumbar spine down to the mat. Inhaling the knees away, exhaling our knees to our chest. And lengthening both legs up towards the ceiling and both hands up towards the ceiling. I love this position, lazy dog posture. Start to rotate the wrists in little fists, round in nice big circles. Once again, try not to hurry here. So if you've got arthritic hand and finger joints, just taking time to understand your range of movement. Rotating at the wrists with little fists. And then encourage the fists inwards towards the inner wrists and back outwards towards the outer wrists. And then release the hands nice and wide, stretching the fingers and thumbs. And with the feet rotating at the ankles nice and slowly, continuing the focus on your lovely long in-breath and out-breath. So really joint mobility is more of a relaxation and a warm-up. So if you're going to go and do deeper practice, then it's a great idea to warm up the joints first, particularly if it's a cold day. Now let's paddle the feet. So we're softly kicking our bottoms with our heels, listening to the knee joints, but if you can start slowly and speed up a little just to warm the kneecaps. Palms on the floor, pushing some hand weight into the mat to support your upper body. Relax your neck and shoulders. Now let's come up to sitting. We're going to rotate each ankle joint once more. So taking one foot, drawing it in over the top of the other thigh, and linking and threading your fingers in between your toes. This stretches the toes and toe joints, and now moving the ankle joint round in circles one way and then the other, keeping the breath nice and long and strong. And swapping legs. So you can do this for as long as you need to do. Always know that you can reach out and just press stop to the video if you want to go a little bit longer in any of these different exercises. Nice big rotations, and the hand gives you a lot more room to be able to rotate your ankle joints with a little bit more pressure. And now let's start to paddle the arms, sitting cross-legged, paddling the arms just like we did with the legs, almost going backwards to slap your shoulders with your hands, listening to the elbow joints. Keep breathing, keep our faces soft and back of the neck long. And now palms facing down, spreading out the fingers and then turning the palms up. Really spread the fingers out quite strong here. Feeling a stretch occurring in your finger ligaments, palms of the hands. Turning the palms up on an inhale, turning the palms down on an exhale. And now let's take our arms at shoulder height. This is great for strengthening the arms and moving the shoulder girdle. Inhaling the palms up. And then exhale, really turn the whole arm all the way up to the shoulder joint if you can. This is great for getting blood flow across the shoulders and releasing any tension. The main thing here is don't tighten your neck at the same time. Keep the breath, relaxing the body. Nice big deep breaths. And you can mobilize the neck by inhaling and exhaling your chin down to your chest. And then doing some soft head rolls. I'm not a fan of really rolling the head backwards because of the natural forward curve in the cervical spine, the top of the spine, the neck bones. So be mindful as you take your head round in circles, but do allow the head to hang forward, stretching the neck muscles, and just really listen here. Listen out for any discomfort or pain. Nice big head rolls, inhaling back, exhaling forward. Try to keep the shoulders upright and don't move the lower body. Keep your coccyx pointing towards the floor and a nice straight spine if you can. Let's link our fingers now and turn the palms of the hands away from you. This really stretches the palms and the fingers. So if you use computers and laptops a lot, then this is a really nice stretch. Inhaling the arms over your head, pushing the palms up to the ceiling. And now let's take the back of the hands away from you. Again, stretching the wrists, widening the thumbs, just opening the thumbs out nice and wide, stretching in the balls of the thumbs, the base of the thumbs. Inhaling the arms up, And stretching in our shoulder girdle as well here, stretching in the armpits. Now linking the fingers behind your back and roll your shoulder blades towards each other. Listening to the arms here, and as you draw your fists away from your body, try not to lock the elbows, but you can come forward with the upper body as I'm doing here. If you're very open in the hips, you might be able to get your head to the floor, but listening all the while and try not to lock the elbows. Be mindful not to lock joints here. Let's come onto all fours now and do a little bit of hand and wrist stretching. So sit comfortably onto the knees and place both hands out in front of you. Stretching the back of the wrists and the front of the wrist here is quite a strong position because we're leaning our body weight in. Effectively take the back of the hand first onto the mat and stretch the back of the wrist by leaning towards the palm. So you can do this at whatever angle, fingers pointing outwards, fingers pointing inwards, and then stretch the inside of the wrist by turning the fingertips and the palm towards the seat, towards the floor. Try not to lock the elbow here, but it is quite a strong posture. So if you're warming up your hands for downward dog and other weight-bearing postures, but you have arthritic joints or slightly painful joints in the wrist, try not to be too harsh here. This is a strong stretch and a strong wake up for all the wrists and the finger joints. So turning the back of the hand towards the floor to stretch the back of the wrist, and then turning the palm of the hand towards the floor to stretch the front of the wrist without locking the elbows, particularly as I am slightly hypermobile in my elbow joints. I don't want to lock my elbow joints when we're trying to loosen them in joint mobility. Breathing all the way through here, and it's important to relax into your stretches. The exhale breath is very good to help you relax, and then wiggling the fingers and rubbing the soles and the heels of the hands together. Let's come back onto all fours properly and sit back on our toes. We're going to do some toe joint stretching. It never feels very comfortable, this, to me, and we always have a laugh about it in my classes, but tuck the toes under at the back and then start to bring your bottom towards your heels. You can actually take a cushion underneath your bottom as well if this will help, so that you don't pull on your knees. And this shows you where you can go with it, leaning all the way back, tucking the toes. And this is great if you do have bunions and want to loosen up your toe joints. But always remember at the end just to scrunch and relax the toes so that you can release off. Let's come on to our knees. Take both knees in the same direction, and we're just going to move the ball and socket joints in the hips and into the pelvis. So taking the knees one way, inhaling, exhaling the knees to the other way. Taking the palms behind you on the floor, fingertips facing forward to keep the wrist joints aligned. And this just opens and makes the hip joints more flexible. Do this a good few times until you feel some heat in the joints. Hopefully by now you'll be feeling a little bit more warmed up in your joints. This is great to do in the winter if you get cold and your joints feel stiff or achy. And good to use this little mini class as a warm-up to your deeper practice. So you can either do savasana here or continue on in your yoga practice. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments.